Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Start Sit Saturday live stream. That's right. Don't adjust your YouTube, folks. It's me, Joey P, on a Saturday morning. I got my cold brew coffee here, the little mocha here. I got my best mate, Tom Strachen, here with me. And it's you. We're hanging out. We're taking questions. You know why? Because we've got a game across the pond. And Tommy Boy here, I'm sure, is going to be at the game tailgating about 3 to 4 hours before, with the fish and the chips and the whole thing, getting things ready to go here. I am rooting so hard for Sam Darnold and the Vikings. The chaos in New York, if the Jets lose again and lose to Sam Darnold, I am the Loki of fantasy sports, and I'm here for it, Tom. I don't know. What's the buzz out there in England right now when it comes to that Sunday morning game here on the East Coast, at least?
Yeah, I mean, I probably know more Jets fans over here than Vikings fans, and there's definitely a level of apprehension among the Jets fans that they're about to go and watch Sam Darnold lay the hammer down on them, because the Jets have just not been impressive so far. The defense has regressed in ways that we thought, but then you've got the 2 first-round picks, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, just looking like mid-options so far. So there's definitely the kind of nerves that Jets fans are well acquainted with starting to creep in.
Yeah, it's a psychology, and I understand it because I'm a Mets fan. So I've barely been able to enjoy myself this week. How spectacular that has all been, and these comeback victories they've had in the 8th inning every day. I still, like, joy hasn't really even set in. I'm sure it'll set in just enough time for the Phillies to sweep them in the upcoming series. But we're here to talk football, take your questions. So let's get to that. Again, I know we don't usually do this on a Saturday, but we're here. So get a coffee, hang out with us. Let's start with Justin Jeffords, McLaurin, Brian Thomas Jr., or Wandale in the half PPR. Tom, I got to go with Terry McLaurin here. Things are really trending in a good direction with Jaden Daniels now always playing. The conquering hero returns. I know Wandale is a great start. I like starting him, but if I can only pick one of these guys, and BTJ has big play upside, I think he's going to have a good game against the Colts. I like Ingram being back for that offense too, but I can't sit TMC. I don't know where you're at with this one, but I mean, it's also half PPR, so touchdowns do matter a little bit more.
I love that this is the first question because I just pulled up my rankings and I've got these three guys back to back to back.
Oh my God.
Terry
Justin must
McLaurin,
have been
wide,
looking at your rankings and then deciding he
yeah,
was going to, like, you know what? I'm going to ask him this.
wide receiver 21 for Terry McLaurin, then Wandale at 22 and Brian Thomas Jr. at 23. And it's just like, I just lean towards Terry McLaurin. Yes, the matchup against the Browns is tough, but like that's another defense that's regressed. They've not been performing incredibly. I really like Brian Thomas and what he's doing, but you look at the kind of volume that Christian Kirk's had the last couple of weeks, and I just feel that he is the bottom of the three. So yeah, Terry for me.
Makes sense to me. We'll get you updated too on any injury things that are breaking. I know, yesterday we flooded you with information. So if anything else happens while we're on the stream today, we'll let you know. Trying to get everybody ready because obviously you got to have your lineups ready tonight for everything going on, most likely as much as you can. Jeff Rogers, Pitman or Wandale Robinson? Tricky one here, Colts quarterback situation. Let's talk about that. And let's also talk about Wandale Robinson, who, even with Malik Neighbors in, was seeing a crap ton of targets. And yes, that is a technical term, folks. Crap ton is actually a metric at Fantasy Pros. But Wandale possibly in store for even more. I know he was a little banged up this week, but Wandale or Pitman, what's your rank say this week, Tom?
I mean, I'm going Wandale, and it doesn't feel particularly good. And a few weeks ago, I could never have imagined that. But Wandale is top 5 among wide receiver targets, and without Malik Neighbors out there, he's just going to get peppered. And I know people have their doubts about Daniel Jones, but he can pepper a slot receiver.
He certainly can. Let's get to Raven V. Flex half PPR. Pick one. Sutton, Madison, Eckler. Eckler back here for those of you who missed that news. So that's trending in the right direction. Brian Robinson, on the other hand, the different situation. So could be some more Eckler in this one. That's kind of where I'm going. In the half PPR, I'm not sure where you're at. I have a hard time trusting Bo Nix. Like, I know Cortland Sutton had a touchdown. He almost overthrew him wide open in the end zone for that touchdown. A lot of people don't, you see it in the box score, but if you didn't watch it happen like I did, you might miss that.
Yeah, I'm going with if Brian Robinson doesn't play, then this one's easy. It's Austin Eckler, much as I'm not an Austin Eckler truther in any way, shape, or form.
Nor
but
I.
Otherwise, yeah.
Although he is bald like me, so we do have that going. We are friends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely joining the squad on that one, but I think I would just lean towards Madison.
It's a good group. I understand that Madison's the easy, safe play there. Let's go to Navarro Mariscal. Cool name there. Full PPR. Murray or Gino, Pitman or TMC?
So I do have Murray ahead of Gino, but this is kind of like last chance saloon for Kyler because he's had some good matchups. He's not performed. I think if after this week you get the opening drive from Kyler Murray, which is really strong, and then everything goes off the cliff edge again like it's been doing, then it's time to bench him. But yeah, I'd just lean towards Kyler, and then I'd be McLaurin over Pitman.
I think for me, I'm McLaurin over Pitman. I agree with you 100%. I think for me, after Thursday Night Football, there's a lot of lopsided scores standing on a lot of boards right now, depending on who is in and who you have for some of these games. Like you had Darnell Mooney or London you're going against, or God forbid, Kirk Cousins, like whatever the situation is. I think you look at it and you go, okay, I kind of know what Gino is. And as you mentioned, Kyler's been, you've seen some glimpses there. I think getting Trey McBride back is huge for him. And he does tend to show up in these games against the 49ers and play them very tough historically. So I think if you're just playing it safe, I'm okay with Gino against the Giants because I think that's an easy day at the office. Yeah. So if you are, I think, woefully behind potentially, I might just take my 20 from Gino and get out as opposed to whatever the volatile, or 25 from Gino even against the Giants. And then maybe just kind of say, show me, Kyler. Like I'm okay with that. I think they're very close. Do you have them close in rankings?
So I've got Kyler QB8 and then Gino QB11. I think it just kind of comes back to how much faith you got in Kenneth Walker. I thought he looked excellent the other night. Sure did. There's plenty of underlying stats that show the Giants give up a decent amount against the run. So if Kenneth Walker goes off, does that eat into Gino? And that's definitely been what I've weighed in my rankings a little bit.
All right, let's get to Henry Odom's question. Pick two, full PPR, Chase Brown, Achane, or Connor. Who's the odd man out?
I mean, Achane is just falling so far, but I'd still start Achane and Connor over Chase Brown.
Yeah, 100%. Brown's the odd man out. This is not hard for me. I just don't think game script's going to work in favor for the Bengals in this one. Let's get to, and look, the Achane stuff. We took so many Achane questions on Thursday. Buy Achane, everybody. Buy it. It's week 5. Another couple weeks. Hopefully you get Tua back. It's a really good second half potentially for them. Steven Smith, Wicks or Brian Thomas Jr. Dontavian Wicks, the flavor of week 5. Everybody, I love him too, but over BTJ.
I'm going with Wicks over BTJ, and I think it's just, I mean, they're two really good matchups, but the Rams, you look at fantasy points allowed to position, and then it's like they're top 6 in QB, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. They're just a sieve. So, yeah, I'd just give the edge to Dontavian Wicks, but I wouldn't blame anyone for going with Brian Thomas, who also is a nice matchup.
All I'm going to say, Tom, is that if the Green Bay Packers offense fails against the Rams, I will not catch a single DFS lineup. I am so heavy invested in the Green Bay Packers this weekend. I just don't think it's wrong. I don't care if it's chalk. I just think it's right. I got all these different combinations. I'm just like, this is where it is. This is where it's living. Mike Chuddy, best defense to start this week, Green Bay or San Francisco?
I think I'd lean towards Green Bay. They've been sneaky, really good. They've had a couple of really big kind of blow up fantasy point games already. I don't think they had any games below 8 fantasy points. So yeah, I'd stick with that.
I think you get more sacks and more interception potential with the Green Bay defense because of what that game script might be. Stafford having to drop back a lot if they're playing from behind. Stafford, throwing a bad pick last week in Chicago, didn't look very Stafford-esque because he's also working with a bunch of receivers that, those aren't the starting guys. So he's a little bit more. And crap, I can't remember what the guy's name is on Green Bay who's had an interception every week this year. Name just popped out of my head. But he's been terrific. I just look at the leader in interceptions. That's who it is. Christian's next, Tyreek Hill or Leggett. I can't believe Christian. Look, I'm not going to bro you only because I sense this question is out of desperation and fear. I get it, but you have to start Tyreek Hill still. Like Legett's a good start. You have to start Tyreek Hill. One big play from Tyreek Hill against the lowly Patriots. Christian Gonzalez is I mean, come on. He's not Darrelle Revis in his prime. Can we just stop? Like he's a good player, but Tyreek Hill is elite, and elite players to me, you always start, period. What's your thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, and for me, it's even easier because the Chicago pass defense is really, really good. I think they're top 5 in pass defense DVOA. So you've got a guy who we've seen a limited sample size from. Yes, he caught like 6 of his 10 targets last week, and he looked really good. Clear wide receiver 2 on that offense now. But he's going up against a really good pass defense. And I think with another week of coaching, I'd like to believe that Mike McDaniel can get a little bit more out of Tyler Huntley and they can dink and dunk their way a bit more productively.
I'm here for it. I agree 100%. All right, let's go to Jorge's question here next. Xavier McKinney. Thank you, Seth. That's who it is. Xavier McKinney. I could not remember. I kept wanting to say Xavier Woods, but I was just watching SmackDown from last night, and I was like, that's not it. I just know like that wrestling's in my head right now, even though there is a Xavier Woods, and I was like, this is going to be wrong. It's Xavier McKinney. Shout out, McKinney. Good season so far. Jorge, Josh Jacobs or Brian Thomas Jr. Now, here's the thing. Rams terrible against the run. Jacobs 0 touchdowns. Is this the Josh Jacobs day here?
I think, well, I mean, I'm definitely leaning towards Josh Jacobs. I think it's kind of been a little bit annoying how he had that massive week in week 2, and then it's like the volumes crept down and Emmanuel Wilson's role seems to have grown. But I've still got Josh Jacobs as like a top 20 flex play quite comfortably.
All right. If you're watching the stream right now, don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel too, because we've always got a cool giveaway. Our new giveaway this week from Trophy Smack, the Wall Smack. Oh my God. Look at that thing. It's so good. This is how you impress friends and relatives in the holiday. Okay. You win this, you put it up there right next to the Christmas tree, right over the table for Thanksgiving dinner here in the States. If you're like looking to really, up the fan cave, this is the piece for you. It's a large fantasy football wall smack of your choosing. And these magnetic wall plaques aren't just wall art. No. They're a statement piece to let everybody know how much you love fantasy football. So to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Drop a comment below on any video, this video preferably. And of course, ring the bell till it goes ding for notifications so you know if you are the big winner of the Trophy Smack Wall Smack. Trophy Smack is the #1 store for epic fantasy tournament trophies. Back to the questions, everybody. Let's go to Philip's question here. Gibson or Leggett? Now, Gibson is starting, but I got to tell you, Tom, like the whole starting thing in the NFL, every time I hear it, I just roll my eyes. Like this is like a demotion of like You're on notice, buddy. You need to get your fumbles under control. There's no universe where Ramondre isn't a better running back than Antonio Gibson. I'm sorry. So I'm just starting Leggett here, and I'm not even thinking twice.
Yeah, I'm going Leggett here. I mean, I do like Gibson, and I think against that Miami defense, who've allowed like the fourth most fantasy points to running backs, he's a fine play. But like, there's still a bit of a good gulf in difference between Leggett and Gibson for me this week.
The Captain James Kirk. Help. Deontay Johnson or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Ooh, I'm going. This is another quite close one, but I'm going Deontay Johnson here. I know I've said that Chicago Bears is tough defense for pass catchers, but Deontay Johnson, the way he wins, the way he separates, and the kind of volume he could get, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think you go with Deontay Johnson too. I'm almost done with my coffee. We were having a conversation here before the show. Like I'm almost out here. Dunkin' is now the closest, quick coffee place by me. It used to be the Wawa for years, but the Wawa wasn't big enough because it wasn't a big gas station mega Wawa. So they closed it down after more than a decade. And everybody knows who watches the baseball channel how much I love the Wawa. We do a whole thing for the Hoagie Fest during the MLB show in the summertime in June. So I want to know, everybody out there watching, your favorite place for on the go coffee. Okay. And like, are you a Starbucks person? Are you a Wawa person like me? You like the quick check? I know there's all these regional ones there too. Seth, well, I don't remember what the one Seth was saying. You have to put it in the chat. It's somewhere that I don't know. Because again, regionally we have all these things. What's the situation there across the pond for the on the go coffees? Like, is it still like a lot of local shop kind of places, or have the mega chains kind of infiltrated the burbs out there?
Yeah, you've got Starbucks all over the place, and we've got it's called Costa Coffee. But every now and again, you find yourself a Tim Hortons, and there's not many of them over here.
Oh, I have a Tim Hortons not that far from me. I like the Tim Hortons. Canadians are the better Americans. I say it all the time. They're the best Americans. Of all the Americans, North America, South America, the Canadians, they're the nicest people. Quick Trip is Seth's place, by the way. I'm a Wawa guy. That's where I live. So again, drop those comments. I want to see from everybody what they got.
I get catch enough abuse for my accent. I'm not going to weigh in on who the best Americans are.
Well, I mean, you could say none. I mean, that's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's the Wawa chef's kiss. Love the Wawa. All right, let's get to Alex here. Alex question, JSN or BTJ? Sounds like two K-pop bands raging against each other.
Man, I've been really high on Jackson Smith-Njigba for the last couple of weeks, and he's had a couple of really nice matchups, and he's let me down in both spots. This one's Brian Thomas for me.
I would agree. He had that one big game, and we're all still waiting around for it, and it's frustrating. It's the presence of Tyler Lockett. I thought maybe he would fade away because he was hurt, and I was like, okay, maybe this is the year physically he fades away, but then he faded back in, and ever since he faded back in, I feel like it's JSN.
It's also like how DK Metcalf's being used as well, though, because his average depth for target's lower than it's been before. He's got 140 yards after the catch already, and you go back 2 years and he only had 212 yards after the catch the entire season. So like they're getting way more out of DK Metcalf,
and I think that's a very astute change by the new coaching staff and the new offensive coordinator, where they said, I understand the deep threat that is DK Metcalf, but what about the guy who is impossible to tackle, the guy who breaks tackles? Like, what about getting this big giant human who's fast in space and getting him the football and let him just run rampant over, safeties who are half his size? Like, the linebackers can't pick him up, the safeties can't stop him. Like, I like what Seattle's doing. I think it's certainly going in the right direction for that organization. Letitia, good morning, Letitia. Start Justin Fields or Joe Burrow. Now, Burrow's been pretty good lately. Negative game script, theoretically, where your Ravens are, putting a hurting on them. Let's hope. Some of those Ravens-Bengals games over the years too have gotten way out of hand. We're talking like 60-point totals, which I love. Can't get enough of that. But Fields has been, from a fantasy perspective, the ground yardage and the touchdown equity of the rushing touchdown for Fields is kind of hard to pass up. I still lean towards Fields, but it's super close for me.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to look, Fields is playing the Cowboys. The Cowboys got obliterated by Lamar on the ground. I don't think Fields is in the same realm as Lamar on the ground these days, but the Cowboys, they just can't defend the run. And it comes back to being as simple as that for me. I think the Ravens defense looked a bit stronger last week with Nate Wiggins out there. So, yeah, it's Justin Fields by a few spots in my QB rankings.
All right. So I was a little surprised. I thought you might go Joe B there because I get that, but I'm glad that we're holding hands again. Eric Hugo, flex B Rob or Wandale Robinson. Not sure if B Rob is playing. You know what? I mean, if this is a full PPR, I'm going to play Wandale anyway, just because I think he's a safer, because if you play B Rob and he isn't 100%, and he comes out of that game, which is always possible. I mean, everyone always forgets, just because you're hurt and you're playing doesn't mean you finish the game. So you have to take that into account. And if it's full PPR, Wandale, I think as long as everything's good with him, you get a good report, tomorrow morning, it's like, hey, everything's fine. Wandale's a full go, all that stuff. Then, that's where I live on this one. How about you, Eric?
I'm
calm. Eric, can you answer your own question for me, Eric? You could tell I still haven't finished the coffee. I'm almost finished.
Time to get another. This one.
Steve,
it's
what do you
Robinson.
think? Steve, Ted,
Mark,
Mom, where's the meatloaf?
Andy. I'm with you on Wandale for all the reasons you said. I love Brian Robinson. Loads of Brian Robinson this week across my teams, but it's not even close.
Yeah, I'm heavily caffeinated right now. Nick, hey guys, Keenan or Downs and a half PPR? Ooh, here we go.
Man,
I'm getting the weeds now. Come on, Tommy boy.
I could badly do with a Keenan Allen week for my best ball teams. Let me just check where I've got Josh Downs, because Josh Downs, I gave him quite a bump yesterday because it sounds like Joe Flacco's going to play. But I'm wide receiver 35, Keenan Allen, wide receiver 42 for Josh Downs.
I get that, Rank, and this is the fantasy player in me. I play Downs because I think Joe Flacco's ability to facilitate the football to wide receivers is just better than Caleb Williams. I think your ranking is right. This is the difference between analysis ranking stuff and then that weird game within the game of fantasy football, where I'm just looking at it and I go to myself, Joe Flacco is a better facilitator of the football. The Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen connection has to thread a needle, and I just don't know if I'm there. But you're right. I think in the rankings, it would be I couldn't put Downs over Keenan in the rankings, but man, there's a part of me that really wants to play Downs in my lineup over Keenan Allen.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, if you struggle on these, something I like to do is just to go back to the odds. So you look at the Colts Jags game is a 46-point over-under. Carolina Chicago is a 40.5. So if you're really having trouble deciding how many points of earth they're taking, then just lean into the heavier over-under, because most of the time Vegas gets things pretty right.
Yeah, they certainly do. That's why they build hotels. Those giant hotels in Vegas, because you never walk into a giant Vegas casino and hotel and you go, boy, these guys really don't know what they're doing. They must have set some really crappy lines, and we'll be there in a couple months there. Fantasy Pros trip. Excited. Vegas, baby. Let's go. I can't imagine all of us D-gens going to Vegas together. I don't know if Derek Brown will make it back. I got to tell you, I'm a little worried, he might end up in one of the shows there,
You have to put $20 on the 28 for me on the roulette table, Joe. Okay?
I got you, boo. Don't worry about it. All right. If we don't answer your question today, or you couldn't join us on the Saturday live stream, make sure that you check out my playbook. Okay. If you haven't already, sync your leagues for free. It is a great way to utilize the tools we have to find trades, to set all your lineups from, again, you got a team at Yahoo, you got a team at CBS, you got a team at Sleeper or 3 teams somewhere. You could set all the lineups just on my playbook on one app. You don't have to open 5,000 apps to do it all. It's such a time saver, but autopilot is a game saver, because if you don't know who to start, it'll help you. If somebody is a last minute start sit, like for a perfect example, right? We got this morning football. If you're on the West Coast, you're not sure exactly what's going on yet, and you don't want to miss kickoff on the West Coast time, and you got a decision to make. Should I start this person on the Jets or on the Minnesota Vikings? Or do I wait for another player who might be out? And you're fast asleep in Los Angeles somewhere. Guess what? You can set it and forget it with autopilot on my playbook. So again, use the tools here. Download my playbook, sync your leagues for free, or go to fantasypros.com/myplaybook. Check it out. If you never have and you're here every single day watching these shows, please use the tools. I mean, we use the tools, for goodness sake. All right, let's get back to the questions here. Logan is next. Mike Williams or Xavier Legette. Now, I kind of get the Mike Williams thing. I think that trend is the Aaron Rodgers frustration last week was real, but then again, it's kind of always real. He's always frustrated because it's never him. Yeah, it is never his fault.
Oh,
ever.
Yeah. I mean, it couldn't possibly be. I mean,
possibly, Tom.
Look, the guy is only the quarterback, the GM, the head coach. None of it is his fault.
That's a great way, but it's like you're literally running this organization and you're still not happy. Like,
yeah, I think this one's Legette for me because I kind of just view it as Mike Williams is the wide receiver 3 there behind Lazard, behind Garrett Wilson, and also, yeah, I just don't have enough faith in wide receiver 3s on that offense right now. So I love Mike Williams, but I think Mike Williams can have a good game where he catches one 50-yard ball and then catches like 2 more passes, and he still ends up with barely 10 PPR points.
There's also that Mike Williams game where he catches 2 touchdowns for like 10 yards total, and you're gonna hate yourself when he's on the bench for that game. But you can't play for that. You have to play for the Legette, especially Legette, like touching the football in different ways too, right? Getting him some rushes, like putting the football in Xavier Legette's hand seems to be something the Carolina Panthers are finally, having this revelation about, and I think that's important.
Well, and also Alan Lazard had one of the iconic London touchdowns a couple of years ago when the Packers played their first time, and he pulled out the FIFA knee slide celebration. So, I mean, look, if anyone's having a good game, these days he might hurt his knees quite badly at his age. But,
well, they already gave him Lazard. They tried to give him Randall Cobb. I told him the other day, I think it was Debro. I was like, they're gonna have to call Jordy Nelson, see what he's doing, see if we can get his ass back in the game. Let's get to B. York's question. Who to start this week? PPR, RB2, Zach Moss, Justice Hill, or Zach Charbonnet? Well, now that Walker's back, Charbonnet fades a little bit for me. In the PPR, I kind of lean Justice Hill here. Again, I don't like the game script. I think Moss has the most touchdown equity, but it feels like Justice Hill in the format might be the best start. But Tom, you take this one because I am very much on the fence here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're getting the best volume out of Zach Moss. The PPR scam side is probably Justice Hill, and hoping that game, it's like a 50.5 over under, and hoping that it really becomes a shootout. The Bengals keep it going and saying, okay, can Justice Hill get into the end zone for the second week run in? So I don't view Charbonnet in the conversation, but it's really tight between Zach Moss and Justice Hill for me. I think I'd struggle, but I'd possibly just lean towards Justice Hill.
Shane Johnson, Pitman, Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, 2 in the full point PPR. Well, I'm playing McLaurin for 100% sure, and I'm gonna play Garrett Wilson. Like, I just think if I drafted Garrett Wilson with my first or second pick, I'm just not at that point. You look at the corner matchups, they've been negative for him. If you look at whiny crybaby Aaron Rodgers all over the field, that hasn't helped him either. Like, this is a game where I think if it's not Garrett Wilson now, then you're either in that sell low period with Garrett Wilson, you just move on, or your season's kind of done. But I understand it. Let me put it to you this way, Tom. If you're a team that's 1-3, I think Pitman and McLaurin is the safer action this week. That's what I would do if I'm 1-3. If I'm 4-0, then I would play Garrett Wilson and McLaurin and play my quote unquote best guys. But what do you think?
Yeah, I really like Josh Downs. So I think when you look at what he's doing when he's on the field, he's in the slot every single snap, and he's getting those kind of easy catches. And last week he had 8 catches and a touchdown. And I think that his role is only going to grow as he gets better from the high ankle sprain. So for me, it's Garrett Wilson. I know it's been difficult, but hey, look, if he doesn't get you a good performance this week, then sure, that's where we're at on him, and you can start talking about him. But I mean, he's still a top 15 wide receiver for me.
Yeah. By the way, some of these injuries crazy right now. It looks like Devin Singletary is going to be ruled out for tomorrow too. He is now doubtful. In case you missed that, Neighbors is out for that game too. I don't know if the line has moved for the Seahawks, but I mean, I think it's going to be safe no matter what. Is you can set it at 10, and I'm probably like, yeah, give me the Seahawks. Who knows? Maybe we'll see Drew Lock by the fourth quarter, kids. Always an exciting time. Always love a good Drew Lock sighting. Nico Gamble, Judy, Wandale, or Flowers. Ooh, here we go.
Jerry Judy's been having like a sneaky decent season. Been top 36 wide receiver in 3 out of 4 games. Like never higher than wide receiver 27, but never lower than wide receiver 33. I think of those 3, and I think he's probably a better pick than Amari Cooper at the minute. But ahead of these 2, I'd be Wandale. I'd also be Flowers. I think I'd probably lean into Flowers. I think this is the week where the Ravens move slightly away from our guy Derrick Henry and get the passing game going a little bit more.
Sacrilege. You want to move away from the king?
I mean, I want to keep him fresh for December. Like that's when Derrick Henry gets going, when it's cold. Like let's
when we're talking about the king, we feed the king. The king gets fed at all times. Derrick Henry does not care about whatever period of time. He doesn't care if it's October or November. All he cares about is getting the football and ramming it down people's throats. The king, long live the king. Feed the king. Feed him, because good things happen. Besides, it's not like anybody was touching him in that game. I mean, he was just running, you know? He's just like literally just running at the end of the day. It's like, tackles. Pff, not too much physicality there.
Let's keep him fresh.
That's what week 1 was for. Week 1 was the keep him fresh game. Now it's like, hey, we were 1-2. Is get King Henry the football. Jacob, start Flowers or Higgins.
I think I'm still Flowers, sir.
Still Flowers. I would go Higgins here again. I'm playing the total. I'm playing the total and the of the side of them having to push the football a little more. I think both are pretty close. Like I don't think this shouldn't win or lose your matchup. They should be within a couple points of each other. But I was encouraged by where things are going with Higgins. Pistol watches every show. Baseball, football, doesn't matter. Pistol, you're the best. Thank you for always. And Pistol always comments and says thank you, which is so nice. It's just a nice thing. Pistol, you're the best.
Appreciate it.
Let's go to Christian here. Ramondre or Antonio Gibson. LOL. Thank you. I'm still starting Ramondre. Look, I don't want to start either of these guys because they play for the Patriots, my Patriots, because I just think it's going to be as bad as the Miami defense is. That's as bad as the offense is for the New England Patriots. But I would still play Ramondre here. I'm not getting hung up on this starting role nonsense.
Yeah, I'm going Ramondre. I think Ramondre, Gibson's looked good. He's been explosive when he's touched the ball, but Ramondre's still forcing a higher amount of missed tackles, and I still believe in Ramondre.
All right, let's get, I believe in Joe Hendry. So we all believe a couple of things. CSP, pick one, Madison, Tracy, or Eckler in the full point PPR.
Oh man, that's not a fun one in particular. I think I'm probably Madison, but obviously this is pending. If Brian Robinson's ruled out, then Eckler probably shoots into that low end RB2 category for me. Where are you at on Eckler?
I'm in Eckler. I'm on Eckler here because I don't think Robinson's healthy, and even if he plays, I think he's a little limited. I think it might be one of those things where he plays, but he ain't on a full snap share. And again, that's the whole. What I love too is we have a new system here. If you haven't seen it, run and check it out. The Are They Playing tool over on FantasyPros. So how it works is, it gives you a percentage based on injury data. It uses AI. It gives you an accurate prediction on whether an injured player will play. So even if that is a situation where you have a player that's going to play, let's say the percentage wasn't great, but they're playing, it tells you there might be limitations around them. And this is a new tool here at FantasyPros that we've put out recently because our dev team is just by far the best. So if you sync your league, you get a sample report of all your players, the practice report throughout the entire week. And again, it's free. So check it out. It's fantasypros.com/aretheyplaying. There it is. Look, Seth right on there. Again, fantasypros.com/aretheyplaying. This is new. So, we're never sitting on our laurels here, resting, kicking our feet up because, we got the best tools already. That's not enough. We have to be super elite. We have to be King Henry, super elite kind of stuff here. And this is another one of the newest things here where it's going to give you the percentage of whether or not a player is going to be there. And that is so valuable for your waiver pickups on Sunday morning, or even on Wednesday for that matter, for setting your lineups, especially with the bye week. So it's a great tool. Check it out. Again, it's free. So, can't get better than that. All right, let's get to Nico's question here. Oh, no, we did Nico's question again. No, let's not get to Nico's question. Let's get to Charles. Charles, full PPR, Wicks or Wandale? I'm going Wicks here. I'm playing with the better quarterback.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, they're pretty close. I've gotten 4 spots separated in my rankings. I think I'd lean Wicks because of a matchup.
There's a range of outcomes, as Derek Brown likes to say, where the Giants don't score in this game with the way things are
Yeah,
going. No Singletary, no
but
neighbors.
I mean, Wandale could still rack up 15,
He
16
could.
points.
He
But
could rack up
yeah,
15, 16 targets.
yeah,
Points is where it gets tricky. It gets trickier. I'm just saying, I love Wandale. Everybody knows I've been pushing
yeah,
Wandale for 3 weeks, but everyone was laughing at me. Go back and watch the waiver wire show from 3 weeks ago. I was talking about Wandale Robinson, and Fitzy was rolling his eyes at me. He goes, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, I'm telling you, this is where they're going. It's trending in that direction. He's becoming the number 2 and a valuable PPR asset, but Wicks against the Rams, too much big play upside, too many touchdowns potentially for them. Xander, Coleman, or Odunze with Shakir out. Here's my thing. Coleman has been unimpressive. He's had some drops. He's had some issues here. I understand Odunze is a fine pivot. I am fascinated because of the slot matchup being a really favorable one of the streaming Curtis Samuel option. Now, maybe
yes.
I'm a little crazy, but Tommy, that's where I'm at with this one. Where I might play Curtis Samuel over both those guys. Is that
Yep.
nuts?
No, I'm with you. And like you look at this week, what the Bills have said publicly. You heard Joe Brady coming out on Tuesday and talking. He talked extensively about his relationship with Curtis Samuel, why he brought him to Buffalo, what he expects from him, and why they haven't got him going yet. And then you had coach speak from the head coach on Friday. There was a bunch of different quotes about how he's going to play more and how they need to get him involved more. Like they want to get Curtis Samuel going. And this feels like the right kind of matchup for it. So yeah, I'd take Curtis Samuel ahead of both of them. If I had to pick here, it would probably be Odunze simply because I think when you're looking at Keon Coleman, the usage against the Ravens was really encouraging. You have those really nice catches on the sideline, but then they just go away. Like it's so difficult to predict what this Bills team is going to do snap to snap. So yeah, Curtis Samuel, Odunze, Coleman in that order.
There you go. Love it. This is good times here. All right. Let's continue on here with the questions. Let's go to Neil's question here. Shaheed or Addison? Addison is so touchdown dependent, and yet he continues to score them. So I
Yeah.
kind of get I understand where people are going. Where do you go in this one?
So I'm Shaheed. I think when you're looking against the Chiefs, but quite often the Chiefs, what they want to do is take away the number 1 pass catching option. So if that becomes Chris Olave, who's taken out of the game, then that feels like it has potential for Shaheed to do well there. Obviously, I mean, Addison, people like to say that touchdowns aren't a sticky stat, but like you look across the course of his career, and Jordan Addison just has a way of finding in the end zone. So, yeah, I like Addison, but I'm not sure I could start him ahead of Shaheed.
For anybody who says touchdowns aren't a sticky stat, go look at the Football Reference page of Chris Carter and then talk to me about that. Chris Carter was a wide receiver, everybody, for those of you who are under the age of 30. He's Hall of Famer. So caught a lot of touchdowns for the Eagles and the Vikings. There you go. Fun story. Go Madden 1999. All right, let's go Big Fuzzy OKC. See, Tom knows what I'm talking about. Tom was just a boy. He was just a lad across the pond playing the PS2. What was the gaming system of your youth, Tom? What was your
So N64. I've still got my N64 plugged into the
guy?
telly. When the PlayStation needs an update, you just put GoldenEye on for 10 minutes whilst the PlayStation does the update. It's fail-proof.
God, look at you. So good. That's a man who knows what he's doing, folks. That's why he's here.
Not that I have any time to play games anymore.
I was gonna say, it's fun. It's funny. You're gonna have time. I don't know if you've got kids or what your situations are.
Yep.
But right. So I've got 2 daughters. They're 12 and 14 now. It's odd because now once they start to get into those preteen teenage years, they have more activities, things or stuff after school or whatever it is. And
yeah.
all of a sudden you've got a little bit more time on your hands for video games again. And it's funny, all of my like 40-year-old friends now, we all have PS5s. Like I play Madden against Bogman. You want to hear, we got to get that live stream set up where you just live stream Bogman and I playing Madden against each other. It is hilarious because it's like a show where we're breaking down the players and talking about them, but it is so funny. And we talk such crap to each other. It might have to be like a parental advisory kind of thing on there for some of the language potentially, but that's the show that gets gangbuster numbers here on this channel. I'm just saying we might have to make that work in the offseason. Would you watch that?
I would watch that. Again, I don't have
Bogman and
any
Joey
time.
P playing Madden against each other.
Yeah,
Typically
like,
Bogman owns me, but when I beat him, I rub his face in it so bad.
You know, I work a full-time job, come home and spend my evenings writing about fantasy football and podcasting. But maybe
Put it
one
on in the
day I'll sit
background.
down and watch it.
I think you put it on in the background while you're writing your articles, or maybe at work, depending on if you're bored at work. I mean, that could be
that's a good point.
good way to pass the time. Big Fuzzy. I don't know how you got this name, Big Fuzzy, but I'm not going to ask. Help with several L's. Devon Achane or T. Higgins in the flex. I have a hard time sitting Devon Achane. I just do. He's too explosive. I'm going to give Tyler Huntley another week with the playbook. I know I keep making excuses for the Dolphins, and I'm running out of them. Yeah. But my last excuse is it's the Patriots. I don't know what else to say, anybody.
Yeah. Like, I think if this was your RB2 situation, then it'd be easier to play Achane there. But like, you're already talking yourself into a situation where Achane's your third best running back. So if you're that concerned about him, start T. Higgins.
Really? Olave or Wicks?
Well, obviously, I just said that the Chiefs are pretty good at taking away the top options, but I still believe that Olave is a bit ahead of Wicks. What are you
Hot take.
on that, Joe?
New Orleans Saints cover, maybe win outright. Just saying. This is the spot. They are weak. They are a week away from the bye. This is a very vulnerable place for the Chiefs, who have gotten by the skin of their teeth in some of these games here so far this year. And without Rashee Rice, I'm a little concerned this week. Just saying. This is plus 200 right now. Uncle Joey sent you. Tell him. Raekwon, one of our friends of the show. Ramondre or Rico Dowdle.
And that's those are two running backs who I have quite a lot of, and I don't feel particularly good about either of them. But this is Ramondre for me, probably by about 5 or 6 spots in my rankings by the time the dust settles.
All right. So look, Pistol, commenting about my Mets from earlier too. Mets fans is 1969. There you go, Pistol. So I grew up in the 80s in Brooklyn, where the Mets were king in the mid 80s, and it's been downhill ever since. So we'll see how they do today. We'll see how they pull things out. Let's go to Stephen Cotto, Achane or Swift.
Man, I mean, DeAndre Swift, I was wrong about him. I thought he was completely done, and then he goes and pulls it out of the bag against the Rams' terrible run defense. Good news for him is he's got the Panthers, who are almost as bad on run defense, and I think you've just got to go Swift here.
Okay, next up, Guillermo. Keon Coleman, Eckler, or Justice Hill? I'm going Eckler.
Yeah, I'm going Eckler.
All right. Next up here, I love what Jaden Daniels is bringing, man. I'm feeling it. Sam, Fields or Kyler?
I think we already talked this one earlier, didn't we? And it's just in Fields.
We did Kyler and Burrow.
Fields or Burrow. Yeah, Fields or Burrow, and we did Kyler Burrow. But
that's what we did. No, you're right. It was Fields or Burrow. We did all the combinations, but not this one yet. So yeah. All right, still Fields
because Cowboys suck.
Yes, and no Parsons or Lawrence. This is not the Cowboys defense at full strength, everybody. And if the Steelers fail, then okay, but the thought process is good. Tom Hens, full PPR, Javonte Williams, Wandale, or Josh Downs. I'm oddly curious about Javonte this week.
I was just about to say I don't want any part of Javonte because
I said curious. I didn't say like excited.
Javonte curious.
I mean, I think in the full PPR, Wandale's the safe.
Yeah, I think I'm going Wandale. Like he's probably a top 20, 30 kind of play this week. But Javonte, it's just that way that he's still sharing with Jaleel. Audric Estime is coming back soon. I just don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to start him.
Dylan Ben, Tyrone Tracy, or George Pickens? I'm playing Pickens.
Yeah, I'm playing Pickens here. I think Tyrone Tracy can be fun, but we're still talking about a rookie who's expected to make his first proper start, and a lot could go wrong there against that defense.
See, Dylan knows what's up. Wawa. I see you, Dylan. Wawa supremacy. I could have invested in a company. I should have invested in Wawa. Ryan's a Tim Hortons guy. Tim Hortons is good. Timbits. Delicious. Love the Timbits. There you go. Coffee and comics. Here's another one. There you go. They got a lot. People were chiming in here. I'm just going to catch everybody up. Wawa for price and good coffee, but treat yourself. Go with Starbucks. Starbucks sometimes is a little over expensive and underwhelming to me. Some of the things there. Some stuff is good. Some stuff is a little much. It's almost like chemically sometimes. Some of the stuff they put in there. It's a little much. Frosty. Jacoby Myers, Leggett, Wandale, or Jennings in the PPR. Jennings, everybody wanted to banish him last week, and they still put up 88 yards on 3 catches. So I don't know, man. I don't know if we can banish him yet. This is a tough one, man. Jacoby's the least thrilling to me because of the matchup he's got.
Yeah, definitely. That's like one where, like, if you're trying to take on Patrick Surtain, I don't know if they'll even go to man coverage this week whether they feel the need to, but I'd try and stay away from him. I know people don't want to start Jalen Waddle, but I think
Well,
I'm
Waddle
Jalen
wasn't
Waddle.
terrible. Like, I mean, stat line
Yeah.
wise, like you look at last week, I think you start Waddle here, and you just again you hope that Huntley with another week under his belt and the bad Patriots defense is good. Miranda, our big winner recently of one of the Trophy Smack giveaways. What's up? And I said her name correctly. It's nicely, by the way. Got you, Miranda. Justice Hill or Rico Dowdle?
I think I'm going to Rico Dowdle there because it feels like Dowdle's less game script dependent than Hill is.
So if you want to be like Miranda and you want to win something cool from Trophy Smack, drop your comments below, subscribe to the channel, and you could win the Trophy Smack Wall Smack. Again, Trophy Smack, the #1 store for epic fantasy football tournament trophies. The Wall Smack is a great, again, just put it outside your house, put it inside your house, put it in your fan cave, wherever you go. It is a great opportunity. Give it as a present. There you go. It's so many things, and you can win it for free, and you get to pick which one that you want. So go check out Trophy Smack. Start shopping today, but you can't shop for it quite yet because you got to win it first. So drop your comments below. Subscribe to the channel. It's an easy thing. Again, every week we're giving away something else free here because, well, we're the best. So go make sure that person is you. Miranda will tell you because she just won it. Let's go to Enzo. Mahomes or Fields? It's come to this. It's come to this, Tom.
So I literally picked up Justin Fields off waivers in my home league this week, and I'm starting ahead of Mahomes. When you look at the Saints defense, they're definitely not incredible, but what Mahomes is doing, he was so reliant. His average depth of target of 5.4 is like second lowest among starters. Rashee Rice was making up for it by leading the league in yards after catch. Now you take that out of the equation, and yeah, I'm going Justin Fields.
CJ Stroud or Sam Darnold?
That's still CJ Stroud for me. I mean, what Donald's done's been really impressive, but I can't go ahead of Stroud.
The London games can be weird sometimes too. So I
Yeah.
would just, I know that's like not, it's not like an analysis necessarily. It's just visual of what we've learned is the travel and the,
As
it's
someone
the same
who's
thing that
been
happens with
to
pitchers in baseball. Like you get out of routine, Tom, and things don't look the same as they normally do. And typically when we get those games across the pond, they don't look the same.
No, as someone who's, I think I've probably been to somewhere between 15 and 20 London games, and just about never do you get what you expect out of them. Case in point, when my Ravens got dropped like 50 points from the Jags on them. So
I was just going to ask, you know what you always get? The Jags. That's the one thing you can count on. Just the Jaguars. You can count on them.
I've seen a lot of bad Jags games in London over the years.
Can you know, since you said you've been to so many, I'm curious, what's that evolution been like from those early ones to now with the crowd, with the atmosphere, with maybe the knowledge of the fan base? Like what's the environment like now as opposed to what it was 6-7 years ago?
So the first one I went to was the second ever London game in 2008, which was the Saints versus the Chargers. And like back then, I wasn't playing fantasy NFL. I wasn't as familiar with the rules as like my degenerative behavior is now. But now you go to it. Like back then, there was a lot of people there because the NFL was in London. Now you go and it's just a sea of completely different jerseys. You've got everything from London Monarch jerseys to you'll see all kinds of different jerseys from years ago in the league. You've got the traveling contingent of fans, and honestly, it's the closest thing. The people who come from America say it's closer to a Super Bowl kind of atmosphere than anything else because it's just wild. But yeah, it's a really fun atmosphere, and I would say to anybody, if you have the chance to travel over here for a game, they are so much fun, and like I'm big fan of them.
That's on my bucket list of things. I want to go see an international football game just because I feel like, especially there too, knowing the culture, being there for a time in my life, you know,
a few beers.
A few have many pints, hanging out with that crowd, singing songs and doing that. Like, that's the thing about it. Like you love the football crowds, the soccer crowds. It's such a different environment. Man. It's so fun.
Very much,
you know, if you experience anything in those pubs, watching games and things like that, it's a scene, man. And to think about like 70,000 people doing that together at the same time, that's something I want. And we can all Airbnb at your house, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only 3-hour drive away from London. It's fine.
That's fine. It's 3 hours, but it's a free room. So I mean, you know, and I'll cook at your house. I'll come over and make a big Italian Sunday dinner afterwards. It'll be fine. We'll make the meatballs in the morning. I'll put the sauce up. We'll go to the game. We'll come back. We'll eat. It's gonna be nice. You just got to leave one person home to stir the sauce.
I can't wait.
Jonathan, guillotine, full PPR, start Tank Dell or pick up Bo Melton.
No, that's Tank Dell.
Come on, guys. Come on.
That's almost a bro.
It is a bro, but I get it. No, the Romeo Dobbs drama, like, that's a good way to get yourself traded, I guess. Norland, Eckler over Tyreek Hill. No, stop it. You're pushing me to bros on a Saturday morning when I'm in a good mood. Like I'm happy here. I love working with Tom and Seth and so I'm trying so hard. I don't want to bro somebody on a Saturday morning. We got the whole weekend ahead of us. Raiders 66, Komet or Kraft?
I'm going Kraft. Like,
yeah.
Komet is just so volatile. Like, I think he was tight end 19, then tight end 2, then tight end 17. I don't want any part of that.
I like this one from Peter. My kid says hi and to please pick 2. All right, this is not for you, Peter. This is for your offspring. This is for your next of kin here. Marvin Harrison Jr., Worthy, Rashid Shaheed, Wicks, full PPR. Thank you. All right, Peter, let's try to get this right. I can't sit Marvin Harrison Jr. I just can't.
No.
So he's automatically in. So it's Worthy, it's Rashid Shaheed, and Wicks. I think Wicks this week, with the target volume he saw with Watson out, and Watson's going to be out again this week, it's Wicks for me. Where you go?
Yeah, I'm definitely Wicks over Worthy. I think you're still seeing a guy who, yes, he played season highs in snaps last week and ran more routes than before, but still only ended up with 3 touches of a ball. So I don't think they're suddenly going to bring him on a massive amount. Rashee Rice, he came on across the course of the season. It was week 11 onwards. And you see this with Andy Reid and rookies. He doesn't throw them in straight away into huge workloads unless they're like Kareem Hunt or Tyreek Hill. And so, no, I'm with you.
All right. It's funny, Tom, you and I have never done a show together before last week. And now it feels like we've done a million shows together. We got to get more Tom and Joey P together. I don't know. We got to make Seth go talk, go Slack message some more people here. We're having a good time here. I feel like Tom and I could do this for 6 hours. And
wait, we're not doing this for 6 hours. I cleared the rest of my day. I mean, like, the wife's taking the kids out. Like, I'm clear.
This is it. Like, this could be it. I mean, we just do this. I mean, why not? We can play some GoldenEye in between, while the stream is loading.
Let's stream that. Yeah.
So you're my little cousin's age where he played GoldenEye. Like there was a point there between like 11 and 13, I feel like, where I think he would just walk around his house in like a weird, GoldenEye mindset constantly. Yeah, I think the music was playing in his head constantly as he walked the hallways in his house. Marco, Keenan Allen, Trey Tucker, or Alan Lazard. I mean, Allen feels like the default here, but Keenan Allen, let me be specific. And then Lazard feels like the fancy play. What do you want to do?
Yeah, again, I mean, like, I think I've got him in the. It's Keenan Allen, Alan Lazard, and then Trey Tucker in that order. But I know Keenan Allen hasn't been impressive, but it sounds like he is getting healthier.
All right, let's lightning round. Raymond, full PPR, Najee, Ford, Achane, pick 2. Odd man out to me. It feels like Najee is the odd man out in the matchups.
No, I'm leaving Ford on the table.
You leaving Ford out? Okay, I'm fine with that too. It's super close. I know Debro loves Ford this week. John Palmer, Xavier Worthy, or Rashid Shaheed?
I'm good, Shaheed.
Nice. Let's go. Culturepreneur, Sutton or Shaheed?
Shaheed still.
Yes. Do not put your faith in Bo Nix, people. Vizzle, Kraft, Schultz, or Ertz? I'm going Kraft.
Yep, Kraft, tight end 6 for me.
Achane or McLaurin?
Ooh.
I think in this one, I'm going to have to say I'm still going with Terry McLaurin. Jane Daniels has just been so good. So I think that's where I'm going with this one. All right. Next up here, we've got Marco. We've got the new situation there here. Hold on. Oh my God. We expanded for a moment there. That's okay. We're back, everybody. Marco King, Rico Dowdle, or Zach Moss?
I'm going Rico.
Me too. Let's go. 2 for 2. Let's go to Ayuk, who everybody hates right now, or McLaurin. I'm going McLaurin here.
Yeah, McLaurin.
All right. Wandale or Pickens? I have a hard time sitting Pickens, but he's like the guy, like for Fields. That's it.
Yeah, I'm leaning Wandale. I just think like the matchup there is to be won on the ground against the Cowboys.
All right. Mr. Nice Guy. Here you go. This is just for Tom. Rocket launcher or golden gun? What's your choice there?
Yeah, I didn't like the golden gun. I mean, set the health down to -20 and then use pistols if you want to recreate that, but I'd go rocket launcher.
Wow. There you go. All right. I'm going to end on that note because I don't think we could possibly end on anything better. Don't forget, everybody, drop your comments below to win the latest giveaway from Trophy Smack, the Wall Smack. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, be smart. Also, be smart. Sync your leagues on My Playbook. My Playbook, again, you can download it wherever you get your apps. Go to fantasypros.com/myplaybook. Use the autopilot feature to set it and forget it, the start sit feature, all the features we have there. And also, don't forget about the new tool we have. You're not sure if somebody's going to play? Well, we can help let you know. fantasypros.com/are they playing, the percentages, the insight, the technology to let you know what the chances are a certain player is going to be active or not for you this week, so you can be ahead of the curve, because that's what fantasy championships are all about. Seth, great job today as always. Tom, again, we could do it for 6 hours, but you know, I got a football game to coach at 1:30 today. 4-0 Eagles. We got to get to 5-0 today. It's going to be tough. We're missing a couple players. Someone's got a soccer game and some other things. It's, you know, this is the hard part about coaching at this level. Too many activities, but you know, the 12U Eagles, let's go. Let's keep that perfect season going. Knock on wood. And if not, we're still the 1 seed anyway in the playoffs. We got to keep going. So hopefully everyone has a great Saturday out there and a great Sunday. Enjoy the early games for those of you who celebrate getting up early in the morning for football, and that'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. I'm going to let Tom go and play some GoldenEye. For Tom Strachen, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Have a good one. I can hear it booting up right now. He's booting up the game, literally right now. That's what he's doing. Strachen is locked in.